What's up, guys? Welcome to Keeping It Kosher. I'm Chef Elon.
And I'm Chef Tolan, and we're both the executive chefs for Madison and Park Hospitality Group, your premier destination for kosher catering.
What are we making today, brother?
Today we're making borscht, a classic Eastern European dish that can be served either hot or cold.
Is it good?
It's delicious. Kids have a different idea, but adults love it.
Wonderful. So what goes into making borscht? What makes borscht borscht?
The thing that makes borscht is beets. That's a tongue twister.
The thing that makes borscht borscht.
Say that 3 times fast. Borscht, 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 borscht.
So borscht actually has 2 forms. It can either be with beets and cabbage or just cabbage alone. Some people make it with meat, especially in Russia, they make it with meat, but we're gonna keep it vegetarian today so that we can eat it with the most delicious topping, sour cream. That's what would keep it kosher.
Right. Because in kosher cuisine, you can't mix meat and dairy together.
That's right.
That's a big no-no.
Yes. So borscht traces its origin back to Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus. All 3 of those countries would argue amongst themselves who created it, where it actually came from. To us, it doesn't really matter. Our ancestors, our Jewish ancestors, brought borscht from Eastern Europe to America, specifically New York. They love it, we love it, and now we're going to show you how to make it. So first things first, we have our beets that I put in a pot with boiling water. What I want to do there is I want to get some of the color out, and I added vinegar and sugar. Now I added the vinegar because the chemical that's responsible for beets' red color are called anthocyanins. And when you add vinegar to something with anthocyanins, it maintains its color and its freshness. Then I added a little bit of sugar just to bring out the natural sweetness. Beets are sweet already, but you kind of want a little sugar just to kick it up a little bit. So we have those boiling. Then we're going to start prepping our vegetables. There's a lot of vegetables that goes into this, and we're going to start with our onions, our shallots, and our leeks. So let's start cutting those. I'll do the leek, you do the onion.
Wonderful. Here you go.
Thank you. Gonna open this bad boy up, check for sand.
What are you checking for?
Checking for sand.
Why are you doing that?
Because leeks have sand in them sometimes, but these look pretty clean. So let me wash them. Always wash your vegetables, even if they look clean. So we're just gonna go small dice on pretty much everything. Did you like borscht when you were a kid?
You know what? As a kid, I actually really hated borscht. I remember a time my mother made borscht for me, and she left me in the kitchen to eat it. And she said I had to finish every last drop of it, and I couldn't get up from the table. This is just how immigrant parents show love. So I hated borscht, so naturally I decided, how can I get away with this? And I'm like 10 years old or something, so I said, you know what, let me just spill the whole thing in the garbage and tell her that I ate it. She came around and saw that I had spilled all the borscht into the trash can, and then so she filled a whole new bowl and poured it over my head. And from that point on, I really loved borscht. And not only that, I never lied again. So,
I think that's called exposure therapy.
Exactly. So,
seems to work.
Now I love it. Thanks, Mom. Love you.
I also didn't like borscht as a kid. I just thought it was too tart and acidic for me. Borscht is, as most Russian soups have a nice balance between sweet and tart. In fact, there are other soups that are completely tart, like solyanka. And it's very interesting how we really love sour things, sour tasting things. A traditional borscht would also have some sour salt in it, but we're gonna use some lemon juice and some vinegar for that.
And that's the thing, growing up in a Russian household, as a kid, you see things and you're like, what are they eating? Why does everything look so strange? But then as you get older, you realize it is delicious.
It really is.
They just really have to work on the marketing. The branding is off. The branding is way off.
I completely agree.
And that's where we come in. We like to break every stereotype known to man when it comes to kosher cuisine and Eastern European cuisine.
That's right.
And you can find that out at Madison and Park Hospitality Group. Shameless plug. This by far is my favorite tool in the kitchen, a scraper. Just for cleaning up.
Just use your hands.
I know, but I got big meat hands.
That's true.
You can't grab onto things.
Do the garlic, you do the shallot?
Just doing one more onion.
Now there is an order there is a procedure of steps that you need to follow carefully. First you want to start with the things that will cook the longest. Start with the beets. Always cook the beets first. Then you want to saute the vegetables separately. You want to start with the onions, the shallots, the leeks, and then after that you want to add your garlic. After that becomes translucent. Then you want to add the tomatoes and the tomato paste for a little extra color and a little extra acidity. Then you want to add the liquid back that you use to make the stock. And then you want to add the potatoes. And then at the very end, you toss in your zucchini. And then at the very, very end, you toss in the cabbage, you cover it, you turn it off, and that's it. There you have borscht.
Yes, that's it. An hour later.
Nobody said it was easy. We also have to grate the beets, as you'll see.
What did Julia Child used to say? 2 hours of work for 10 minutes of pleasure?
You know what? Those 10 minutes are worth
glorious,
it.
yes.
Yeah, they are glorious. There isn't much seasoning that goes into borscht. It's really very simple. Some salt, some sugar, a little bit of cayenne, and that's really all you need. Maybe some bay leaves. Some people also eat it with Russian-style dumplings called pirmeni.
Yes.
I don't think it needs it.
Which we'll be making at a later episode.
Yes, we will. So we're just gonna prep our mise en place for the entire dish.
And for people who don't speak French, what does that mean?
Mise en place?
Yeah.
Everything in its place. It's much easier to cook when everything is prepared and then you just kind of assemble it. The goal is to get rid of your cutting board. Get all the dirty work out of the way and then just put everything together.
There's a lot of cutting going on, so this is the perfect time to throw on some tunes, bring a buddy, put on a podcast, or just cut in silence, if that's your kind of thing. Alright, now that we've got everything chopped, we are ready to start sauteing our vegetables. Okay, so we gotta make sure our pan is on. Pan's on?
Yeah.
Pan's on. Alright, here we go. First we start, get that oil in there. Then we got our vegetables. We got our onions, carrots, shallots, leeks in one bowl. That goes in first.
A little bit of salt, just to get rid of some of that moisture and help the cooking process go a little bit faster. Turn up the heat a little bit. Now you don't want these golden brown, you want them just translucent.
Just mix it around a little bit, get the oil, get it coated in oil. Make sure nothing's sticking to the sides, otherwise it's gonna start, or it'll burn. While that's frying, by now our beets should be done, so we're gonna go get that out. Grab your colander. Over here. What you want prepped is an ice bath because it'll halt the cooking of the beets. Throw that right in there. All right, you're gonna turn off your oven. Have an ice bath ready. This will halt the cooking process of the beets. Throw that right in there. After that's done, put that over there. And then bring it over. We're gonna let that cool down because eventually we're gonna have to start grating them. Okay, let that cool down.
We're ready for the garlic.
Ready for that. Once that is translucent, start throwing in our garlic.
Just want to sweat them for a little bit, just to get rid of that harsh smell.
Garlic is also a very quintessential ingredient when it comes to Eastern European cooking.
Yes.
And that's why we all have bad breath, right?
Yes, exactly. So now that we sweat it a little bit, we're just gonna add the tomatoes. Just gonna cook them down a little bit, get rid of some of that excess moisture. Add a little bit more salt. Then we're gonna put some tomato paste for extra color, extra acidity. Can you open this for me?
You know, they put this little thing on the back of the cap so you can open it. You ever know that?
What?
Yeah.
I did not know that. That's
They
so
do
cool.
that on all various kinds of creams and lotions.
Look at that.
You never knew
No,
that?
I never knew that.
Well, even
That's
we're
awesome.
learning something here today.
Wow, thank you.
You're welcome. This is what big brothers are for.
It's better than teaching me how to tie my shoelaces.
How do you tie your shoelaces, by the way?
Bunny ears.
Bunny ears,
all the
I
way.
know. People laugh at us for that, but that's how I was taught. And you know what? I'm not going to change.
You don't have to change for anyone. It's
I know,
better.
but people, I do bunny ears and people are like, how old are you? Are you like 5 years old?
I don't even know how to do it the other way.
I don't know. It's supposed to be easier, but
It's not.
Whatever. Stuck in my ways.
Good. Never changed home.
I remember I was doing that once. I was on a trip and this girl looks down at me doing bunny ears. She's like, why don't I teach you how to do it like a grown-up does it? I'm like, no. This is how it's done. Bunny ears.
I bet she puts milk before she puts cereal.
Oh, yeah. Does anyone do that?
I have tried it.
Milk before cereal? How do you get the ratios right?
It's a guessing game.
You don't need to put yourself in those dangerous situations.
I guess not. Okay, so now everything is essentially ready. We're just gonna toss in our bay leaves. Just gonna sweat that a little bit. And this is pretty much good to go. All right. Okay, so now let's start grating.
Yeah, now that the beets have cooled down, what you want to do is start grating them. And that gives the borscht its classic texture. So,
Yes. Are they cold enough?
they are definitely cold enough, and if not, suck
Very
it
good.
up. Here we go. Bowl.
Thank you.
Grab one of these bad boys. Sorry. Cut off this, whatever you call that. Throw it out.
Okay,
Go ahead.
thank you. How fine are we going? Probably about this
Yeah,
thickness.
that thickness.
Yeah.
Because you want the beets to be the star of the show. If you grate them too finely, they'll almost disintegrate into the soup. And then what do you have? Just some purple mash.
It's good to not cook them completely through, so that because you're going to be cooking them again. So at this stage, you kind of want them at that perfect, almost done, 3/4 of the way cooked. Whew. Okay, so now we have our grated beets, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our sauteed vegetables and the beets back in the pot in which we cooked the original beets. And yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, I'll move this over for you.
Thank you. So all this beautiful red color that we got from cooking the beets originally is exactly what we want. Now we're gonna toss in our vegetables. No waste. That's why you use a spatula. Now our grandmother makes a delicious borscht. Likes to put a little cayenne. So that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, just a little spice.
Just a little spice.
Just a little spice.
Never hurt nobody. We're gonna put our beets in.
Beautiful.
Okay. So we do that. Then we're gonna add some salt.
Little pepper.
Yeah, a little pepper.
Beautiful.
Okay. We're gonna bring that up to a boil. And we're gonna add our potatoes. In the meantime,
I got it.
There you go.
Now, these have been sitting in water, in cold water, and that's just so they don't oxidize. And when that happens, they start to turn brown and yucky, and we don't want that with that. We want that beautiful, normal color.
Yes.
Let's strain that.
When you cook potatoes, always start with cold liquid and bring it up to temperature. Throw that in. And make sure you have enough salt. That's really important. Okay, so we're gonna bring that to a boil and let that boil away. And then we're gonna add our zucchini and our cabbage. Okay, so the borscht has been boiling away for about 10 to 15 minutes, and now we're gonna add our final components, the zucchini and the cabbage. These cook extremely quickly, so you wanna add them at the very end. Good. When you add the cabbage, then you turn off the heat, cover the pot.
Yeah, we give it a nice little mix.
Yeah. That's it. Cover the pot. And you just let that sit there for about 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah. Take a seat, scroll through Instagram.
Yes.
Do what you gotta do. Okay, and once that's done, then grab a plate and we can start putting it all together.
Okay, so I think we're ready to plate.
That's it, yep.
All right, let's do it.
Beautiful, look at that. Mmm,
That looks really good.
brings me back.
So I like to grab a little paper towel because the thing with anything with beets is that it can stain whatever you're gonna serve. So you have to be extra careful. Give it a little mix.
What are you looking for in there?
No, it's just better to put the vegetables first without the liquid, and then you can add the liquid later.
Good. What a beautiful color. That's exactly what you want to see.
Yes.
Good. Cover that back up. Now to finish it off, I'm gonna give it just a little bit of lemon, just for a little added acidity. The traditional topping is, of course, sour cream. And you can put as much as you like. It's to one's own individual taste. And then, as usual, like with everything else we do, to get that final product, just add a little dough. So there you have it. A beautiful, traditional borscht. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Join us next time. I'm Chef Tolan.
And I'm Chef Elon.
And this has been Keeping It Kosher.